Welcome to the Quest for Quality Content podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and
we're gonna try and act like we didn't just get done trying to record something for an hour and
a fucking hour. We started at 5 o'clock. We started and we said, "Oh, it's gonna be a funny bit. It's gonna be a funny bit." And he says, "Oh, when I get out from work, I'm gonna pretend like I'm late calling you, and then we'll do a whole bit where I'm late for the podcast." And so I'm like, "This is great. That's a really funny bit." So I started off recording the shit. And we did a whole thing where you kept on getting delayed. You stopped and got McDonald's. It was very funny. And then you had to get gas and gummy worms. And I did impressions. And now all of that, when you got home, what did you realize, buddy? What did you fucking realize?
It only recorded for 5 seconds.
What's the name of this fucking app so we can, pan it publicly?
Let's see.
This fucking piece of shit. It was so good. I was having a really hard time trying to stay in character and stay pissed off. I was laughing.
Background video recorder.
Background video recorder. Fuck you, background
Uninstalling right now.
Fuck you.
By the way, but this might be a blessing in disguise because, hear me out, this is a concept episode. You don't do a concept episode for episode, 3. You know what I mean?
No, you could.
You subvert the formula once the formula is established.
Yeah, that's true.
So I say we revisit this concept and after testing it thoroughly first.
Oh,
yeah. Testing the technology, making sure that it actually fucking works. But yeah, no. So that was today. Basically we started a little earlier. Because Jimmy had a thing at 7, so I was like, wait, we could still do the whole 2-hour thing, 1 hour for an episode, 1 hour for the after show, as long as I start right when I get out of work, but it was not to be. But that's all right. We'll still do an episode.
We tried to rush it. Now we know that if we want to rush it, we can do. We were almost there. We almost had it. Almost would have been perfect. It's just, we got to get the technical aspects sorted out first. And I'm glad we did it now, 3 episodes in, as opposed to trying to, figure all of that shit down the road. Now at least we have a base level understanding of what needs to go into any kind of fucking bit making in the future.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I don't want this to get cold. I'll probably be eating this a little bit.
Yeah, dude. I still have half of this sandwich left. I'm gonna munch on this sandwich, and we could both munch on the pod really loudly into the microphone.
It's a great way. It's a great way to start an episode.
I know. This is quality content right here. I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of failures.
Me?
No. The main topic I was thinking for this episode, which might be good, is talking about, I guess, kind of learning from mistakes, or more so just kind of learning from working on things that are too ambitious for you, which was the case with the 24-hour stream for me. Basically,
I wouldn't call it a failure, but...
Well, there's certain parts of it that failed, the whole rollout aspect of it. I mean, it's not 20. It's not 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
The title's not delivered on. And also, it's not formatted in the way that I wanted it to be, and it's not. There wasn't enough time to do proper promotion and hyping it up and stuff like that. So it is overall kind of a lesson in in the future, instead of winging it, I should probably have a more detailed plan to make sure that things are ready
And listen,
so-
not to jump the gun
Yeah.
here and like be like, oh, Mr. Silver Lining or whatever, but I will say that what we have been talking about for the new channel and stuff, and you know, our plans for the future, I don't think any of that would have come without the 24-hour stream. Because I think now you've got
that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Exactly. No, totally. It's been such a cool learning experience, at least from my perspective. I haven't been as stressed about the 24-hour stream as you have, obviously, because you know, it wasn't my project from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I jumped onto certain projects, and those projects I really cared about it, and at a you know, at a certain amount of, there was a certain amount of work that went into it, and then I think there was a certain level of stress or ambition to try and get it done, but it was definitely, for me, I was on I was on Easy Street. I had to compose a soundtrack for a thing, that was...
I mean, you did a lot.
Yeah, but it was never on me, you know, it was never my fucking burden or my deadline, and of course I wanted it to go well, and so I, you know, adhere to those deadlines and shit, but, yeah, man, what would it take out of you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it's kind of eye-opening. And by the way, I wanted to say, just to emphasize the fact that when I say, you know, that it's a failure in some ways, or when I say that it didn't go how I wanted it to go, that's not to say that I regret what happened. Like, I'm very proud of what I was able to do.
Yeah.
But it's just, I almost mean it in a positive sense, and not, you know, not to get all, like, everything's positive, but it's like, in this case, like, it does feel like I learned very valuable lessons about, you know, the process of animation. I've never done, like, a almost 20-minute episode of a cartoon before.
Yeah, we just did that out of fucking nowhere, too, also.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you've done animations and stuff before, but you were like, I've got a script here. And I remember fucking working on that script with you, man. Like, that...
Shout out to Channel 9, helped with the script.
Also Channel 9 with the script. And with the voiceovers, he's the voice of the hobo.
Yep.
Hobo, not with a shotgun. That's a good fucking movie.
Yet.
We should talk about Hobo with a Shotgun
Not yet.
sometimes.
You never know. He might get it. He might get a shotgun in the next episode. You never know.
Who knows? It's a shame Hobo with a Shotgun, the movie, isn't public domain, because
Yeah.
I think he'd appreciate it. The hobo would. But yeah,
I've
no,
never seen it personally.
it's super gory. I don't know if you'd fuck with it. It's very gory. Ricky from Trailer Park Boys is in it. I don't know if you've seen Trailer Park Boys. That's a good show.
I've seen a little bit of it.
It's great. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, with the script, I remember like working on it early days and being like, how the fuck are you gonna do this, man? Like,
Yeah.
insane.
No, that was the same thing I was thinking when. But that's always what it is, though. It's just like, that's the only way that I really stay motivated on stuff, is if it's just outside of my grasp, you know? It's got to be something big enough to where I don't know for sure if I can pull it off. That's
Yeah.
That's like where it engages something in like my ego, I think, where it's just like, no, like, we're gonna do this.
You had mentioned earlier something about how well, okay, no, actually, you know what else do you think didn't go exactly as planned? We talked about it's not 24 hours long. Been released a little funkily. It's a little funky in the way it's released. What else?
Well, I also kind of just ran myself into the ground working on it for the past, like, you know, the last 3 months, basically. It was just like every spare second that I had, you know, I was trying to make progress on it and feeling really bad, and really stressed out about it, but also, like, you know, it's completely, you know, something I was putting on myself. You know, it wasn't like there's a ton of people, you know, yelling at me to get it done, but it was just like, it was one of those things where it's just like, no, I have to do this, you know. And, you know, that can get unhealthy when you... Like, there's two sides of the coin of doing something that's that ambitious. Like, there's... You know, on one hand, it's like... it's really exciting and it's really cool, and there's a lot of possibility involved and a lot of kind of grandiosity, but there's also like, the past you is creating an impossible puzzle for the future you.
Yeah.
It's like when you're just planning, you are basically giving your future self a very difficult job and acting like that's not you that has to do that work. You're just like, oh yeah, and then there'll be this aspect of it, and then this aspect of it, and then there'll be a full-fledged interactive element, and I can probably get that done. I can learn how to code, right? I can do that on top of this. And it's like, no. I mean, it's just like, one of the biggest things that I want to have learned from this is there's nothing wrong with creating systems for the benefit of maintaining order. I think there was part of me that was like, man, I don't need that shit. I'm not a square. I'm an artist, man. I'm just gonna wing it and do what I feel.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
But I found, actually, like, I've had this epiphany where it's like, that's actually as constraining as the other thing, which is like fully committing to playing the game, So it's like, I found that in order to feel okay about myself and in order to kind of give my brain the ability to take my mind off of market forces and my mind off of like, man, this needs to come out at this time, I need to have things that are easy to put out. So that I can step back and work on stuff that's not easy to put out.
Yeah.
Without being stressed about it.
And also be able to like creating the stuff that's easy to make affords you the time and the ability to learn and take your time with the new things or the big things, right?
Yeah.
Here's a fun question that I'm curious about. How many things in this fucking 24-hour stream was it like your first time ever trying to do? Like, how many things have you just done for the first time? Like, first time making an animated thing over however many minutes, 10 minutes, and it's 20.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I mean, my first time really doing any narrative animation at all.
That's true. Holy shit, yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to, and I've always, like, thought about it, but I never, like, actually executed it until then. I mean, it was my first time, like, doing storyboards, in that that structured of a way to where it's like, okay, each shot has this story, and you helped with that because I can't draw very well yet. But yeah, no, getting an outside voice actor that I met in acting class that I did a while ago last year. And she did great. She voiced the T in the LCPD, and the only real I gave her very little direction, but I tried to kind of ask for that transatlantic accent, where it's like the fake movie accent that was in all those like old like Hollywood movies where they're like, it sounds half British and half American.
Halfway through British and American. Yeah, it's very... I don't even know if I can do it, but... And then, you know what? I think it'd be really funny if in the future the detective starts using more terms like dame and broad.
Yeah.
She was a good-looking dame. She was. You do what's his name? Fucking, oh, God. Who's... White Heat. He was in White Heat. Cagney. James Cagney. Fucking, that guy's great. That guy's got a great old-timey 40s voice. He's like, see? What the hell's going on? What's the big idea? What's the big... I love
Well, we gotta get you on a character in that show, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll do a bogey.
That show's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try and keep them fairly short, and even... I don't know, I actually wanted to pitch this to you, because you're the resident... artist for this kind of art. Well, other than Proto.
Yeah, other than Proto.
But he's not on the podcast.
He's not. Yeah, he hasn't been on the podcast. We should get him on the podcast.
We'll get him.
We should get him on the podcast immediately after this episode.
Yeah.
Fucking A! Oh man, that's so exciting. I'm so excited. I love those guys.
No, he's got a lot to talk about art-wise too.
Damn
so.
right, he knows his shit.
I mean, I've done like an episode with him before, not on this podcast, but just kind of a loose interview thing for this stream that I don't think actually came out.
Damn.
That's part of what was going to have to happen also is I'm going to have to dig out all of the stuff that I made specifically for the stream and figure out if there's anything that can be salvaged and put elsewhere.
Yeah, honestly, that'll be fun too, because it's like, let's look in the old Nunican vault and dust it off and broadcast it on the Subterra network.
Yeah.
Oh, have we dropped that yet?
I'm so excited about this.
Should we be
no,
we can beep that out.
No, I think we're ready. I think I mean, this might be subject to change. Who knows? But I think it's a good name.
I really think it's a good name. So, yeah, I don't know.
So this, I mean, if you're watching this, it's probably on Subterra. I mean, that's where it's coming out. So
goddamn right.
Yeah, you'll probably already know what it's called. But we're just discovering this now. Oh, the thing I was going to pitch you is a like short, like almost kind of 4 to 6 panel comic series, like a web comic series for posting on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff of LCPD, which would make it easier to like explore the world more and just have like episodes that are just like bits, you know what I mean? Like instead of I mean, it should be fairly easy because they're just letters, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And also with the style that I've been working with Burnward, which is a comic that I've been fucking around with. We could play with that, like, really harsh contrast, the just pure black and white, make it look like an old newspaper strip even. Like Will Eisner, The Spirit. I think I showed you some pages from The Spirit. It's so fucking cool. Great art. Yeah, we could totally do. We could do like a weekly, or even daily, like 4 panels a day or some shit. I don't know, man. That would be great.
I think that would be cool. I think we'll shoot for weekly, just because we're doing so many other things. I don't want to.
That's true.
I don't want to commit you, since I'm not going to be able to do much of the drawing. But I think that'll be a cool way to kind of build that world and those characters without having to animate every single episode, because it's a long process, you know. So it's like, if we can kind of build that world in a way that's a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, especially since most of the humor is kind of just puns. And I mean, in the actual cartoon, like it's pretty much like puns and then kind of just character humor. I don't know what exactly you call it, where it's just like misunderstandings and like kind of general awkwardness. But yeah, as far as like just the over the top nature of like the noir aesthetic and the noir kind of themes and the I think it would be really funny to do like a 4-panel comic, and I want to, you know, be involved, especially in like the writing of the
for sure
jokes, because I think if it's just like a 4-panel comic, you know, if we just brainstorm, we can come up with a lot of different,
I also think we should start
studying
more serialized like newspaper comics, like and I'm not talking about like the funnies like Peanuts or Garfield or anything like that, like because that was like a huge form of entertainment. That was like just straight up in the papers. There was a full-on fucking part of a story, whether it was Superman or they had licensing shit with fucking Marvel and stuff too, obviously. But again, Will Eisner, The Spirit. I gotta check that shit out. We both should. And I think also it would be extremely funny if the comic was really dark and really like grim, and then the show was like the market or like the funny version, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think to make the comic like way more grim and depressing and noirish than necessary. Like, it would be like Sin City. It would be like fucking...
That could be
for
interesting.
Frank Miller. I think it might be a fun route. But it's still got puns. It's just like... Like, the detective is fully an alcoholic. You know, he's like going through a rough time. There's questions of morality, but there's also puns involving the letter D.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think it would be really fun to write for.
Yeah, man. That's great.
So cool. Yeah, well, folks, you just saw us come up with an idea in real time.
You were part of the process. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the stream. Lessons learned from the stream. I mean, fuck it. We're also going to talk about kind of like what the plan is for this channel and stuff. I think, you know, we talked about that a lot last episode, but I think we've done even more kind of talking behind the scenes, and I think we're kind of nailing down like what the vibe of it is, and kind of what the goals of it are.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk about that a little bit.
The goals. Well, I think a goal for me, and this is gonna sound like it's completely contrary to all of our fucking goals that we've set out, but I would very much like a new computer that can edit things properly without crashing every 5 seconds. So I'm gonna be looking into that. And if you're watching this right now and you have money to throw around, I'm not gonna say what you should do with it, but
I mean,
inclined.
If you're a fan of there being more cool art in the world,
I mean that's the main.
It would benefit you to send this man some money.
And specifically, like, also, well, not that sounds like, I don't know. I don't want to be narcissistic either. Like, there's no reason to support us unless you appreciate what you're getting out of that, and that's like this content, this podcast, and stuff like that. And so if that is not worth your money, then by all means, do not give us a fucking cent, and keep watching if you like. Hopefully, if there is anyone watching. But you know, if you feel like it's worth it, I mean, we'll pay it back. We'll pay it back to you.
Yeah.
In the form of funny things. I just finished up a comic. Also, I'm thinking about where and when to post it or how. Maybe we'll save it for the magazine. We also had an idea for a magazine, which is super fun. The Subterra magazine or something like that, but it'll be neat.
There's so many things that are like in kind of the planning process right now that are like, you know, it probably won't all be kind of happening at the same time necessarily. You know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that needs to be done to set these things up so that we can do them regularly. But yeah, more or less kind of our goal is, you know, we'll get a lot of this stuff done ahead of time. Then we'll start the channel. That's what you're seeing now. And then, hopefully we kind of spend that year finding more and more ways to make it sustainable.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I just kind of thought that this podcast, at least the episodes that are a little more loose and where we have less of a determined subject to talk about, like the stuff that's specifically about this new channel and making it moving forward. I think this is really cool because this also becomes like a time capsule of like, welcome to this new thing. This is us a year ago, essentially, making it and like thinking about it. And so you're essentially a year behind our process, but you're experiencing it so linearly and in such real time. We hope that growth is at least interesting to see. And if anything, you know, if we end up being like good at this, and this is like, if we can make it sustainable and we can get it out to people that enjoy it, this could be a great way. And again, not to be narcissistic or whatever, not to say that we're inspirational or anything, but if someone can watch this and then they say, shit, this makes starting a YouTube channel look achievable, and also like I can learn things from it, or I can get ideas from it, or I can, find out that it's worth doing because at least someone else has done it.
Yeah.
If it can lead to more people doing this, then fucking that would be amazing. That would be great.
Yeah. And I think the thing about it too is it's also kind of like it's almost like we're having a meeting about the future of this venture.
Yeah.
And then you're let in on it, you know what I mean? So it's like you get to kind of see something being built, and then, once we're doing these podcasts more regularly, I mean, once the channel like officially starts, I mean, we're still going to be doing it like every other week. So
for sure,
it's going to, like, not all of them are this far back.
No, exactly.
A lot of some of them are pre-recorded like this, and some of them, we'll probably do live for the page. For the Patreon, if we can.
That would be fucking great. We would love to get some fucking fan interaction in the chat and stuff. That would be amazing. That would be so fun. I'd love to do that. Great.
So
the future is bright.
Yeah. No, it's overall pretty exciting. A thing that I'm figuring out is, we just need to make systems that make certain things easier than they otherwise would be. For example, I had this idea for I want to do a bunch of covers of songs.
Hell yeah.
I think, one, that's a good way to promote kind of our own music. Two, it's like a nice, like, pretty simple bit of artistic output, that doesn't necessarily take as much time as it would for me to write my own songs. Not that I'm going to stop doing that, obviously. It's a good way for me to practice, all of this good stuff. But I was thinking, covers is one of the things where we can kind of set it up so that we have a ton of them recorded and we have a bank of them, and then we just release them throughout the year. So if we make 12 covers, then that's one a month. If we make 24 covers, that's 2 a month. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So even if it's just something like that, just like 12 covers, and then, we can still make like one-off ones throughout the year, But yeah, I think even that is like, you're creating kind of doorways into other communities, I think, especially if you're covering songs by somewhat niche artists, like people who have a following but aren't like Taylor Swift, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's kind of creating a doorway from these other communities into ours as well. Like,
for sure.
That's the whole thing that I think, and we can talk about this as well, of like what I think didn't work about Nunican TV in general, not like the stream, but in general, is I almost refused to engage with other media. I mean, there's still some of it in there. Like, I did like a couple reviews. I did like the Grinch Night thing.
Yeah.
I do like subtle references to stuff, but like...
Didn't you do a Spy Kids 3 review?
I mean, that never actually happened. It was in the abandoned videos.
Well, how come you didn't finish it? How come you didn't finish the Spy Kids 3 review, man?
I don't even remember. I think... I don't know. I don't even know, man.
I'm busting your balls about it.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things about that video were really fun. But anyways, yeah, I think it's the thing that I'm kind of coming to terms with, and I'm actually excited about. I thought I wouldn't be as excited about it, but I think there's a certain freedom with the sense that, I can have art in 2 separate categories, basically, of like, okay, this is completely original. This is because it's completely original in our own, and we own the assets, we own the characters, we own, the plot, like, it's our intellectual property. And it kind of, stands as its own thing.
Yeah.
And then 2, you have the stuff that is kind of doorways to bring people into that other stuff, and
Right.
that can be fun as well. Like, it doesn't have to be like a like, just like, oh, we're shoveling more coal into the mouth of this machine. It's like, we'll do stuff that we want to do, but we are still creating those doorways
Well, and
into
it's
our
like
community.
the doorways that we're creating, that they wouldn't be to things that we wouldn't be doing already. Like, I would be making covers regardless of if this fucking channel was a thing or not. And that's something I stand by. And if I release them, if I had a place to release them, also, we could work on them together and then get the attention of that community or be involved in that community. It would be great to collaborate with people, especially people who are like in the same boat as us, who like are still figuring things out,
Yeah.
I think that could be super fun. And also another thing that I thought of was, like, in terms of these covers being posted, it would be great. Well, I don't know. It depends. It depends on because these are all going to be presumably independent, like, single videos, right? I think it would be cool if we could have, like, also compilations where it's like a block of 1 hour of music,
That'd be cool.
But we were talking about that earlier also with the in-universe radio show, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there should be a visual portion to that. I think to some extent there should. I'm not talking about animating every scene or whatever, but because that kind of reminds me of, like, when I, growing up watching, like, much music, or, like, even, like, as a teenager, I would go back and watch, like, compilations of just broadcasts from MTV from, like, the 90s, 80s, and 90s. On YouTube, it's really cool. They have the first ever, like, I think it's, like, 2 hours from the first broadcast of MTV ever.
Oh, nice.
And the first, okay, question for you. Do you know the first song ever that was played on MTV? Channel 9.
Oh, no, I know very little about MTV, to be honest.
So it was Video Killed the Radio Star.
Oh, really?
The Buggles?
That's poetic.
Yeah.
It's poetic.
Really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
Fucking love that song. I heard you on the wireless. 52. So good.
It's a strange sound, but I like it.
It's such a weird sounding tune. Yeah, and the backing vocals that are like, it's so strange. It's such a weird fucking tune. I love it though. I love it.
Yeah.
So that radio show is gonna be super fun to think about. And hopefully you guys are, like, seeing this shit as it comes out too. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's just so much. There's so much to do. I'm very excited. I think it's one of those. It's one of those things to where it's going to be evolving. There's going to be changing. We're not entirely sure what everything's going to be right now.
Yeah.
But we're in kind of this nice blue sky stage where it's just like,
Yeah.
parsing through all of, kind of our shared interests and goals and values and trying to figure out what we're going to do. I think one of the things that we were discussing, I think yesterday, was kind of having kind of a slightly revolutionary tone to it, I guess, or kind of like a...
You could say that.
Or kind of like a...
Countercultural,
yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's important to set up ahead of time that, I mean, just as far as being authentic goes, like, we do want to be successful, but our vision of success is not...
We're not trying to fucking climb any ladders. We're trying to make shit.
Exactly.
We're trying to fucking make shit, and if other people want to help us make shit and make shit with us or on their own but beside us, the more the fucking... We just want more shit to be made. More shit that's fun, and more so, like, for me, this is less about making stuff for other people to consume, and it's more so about giving people, including ourselves, the chance to make stuff, and the process of making art for the sake of making art, I think, is super interesting, and that's something I want to fight for sure.
Yeah. Like, it's not just that we want to bring ourselves up and, like, trick you guys into paying us money so that we can, keep making stuff that we want to make. Like, we do want to keep, we do want to be able to make art and hopefully, do this as a job eventually. But it's a group thing, I think. Like, it's very much so. I'm not interested in elevating myself above the rest of the community as much as possible. I think the goal should be to basically bring everybody up to around the same level as we are. I mean, obviously, there is a certain privilege that we get by being the owners of the channel and the starters of the thing and the organizers, managers of it. But as much as possible, I think the more people join the community, the more we want to showcase the members of that community, and the more we want to kind of constantly be brainstorming ways in which we can be helpful in creating kind of like a little mini culture, where it's like
What? What is it? What is it? What are you laughing at?
No, they're dog whistles. You can't say the quiet part out loud, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry. Too on the nose? I mean, no, we are in it for the money. We're only in it for the money.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm only in
no,
it for the money.
as soon as you give us money, we are kicking you to the curb.
It's all over. It's all over. We're gonna be like Scientology. Just wait, they're gonna pull this video up, that whole big speech about like keeping people elevated at the same level and stuff, and building things together in community. Someone is gonna replay that in 20 years from now when we're like, entertainment tycoons Nuni and Jimbo are now the richest two people in the known universe, and are
I
also
cannot
evil.
imagine that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, just our villain arcs.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm having fun, but also I know that I am not being very eloquent in my in what I'm trying to get across. But oh well, some of them we're gonna bring it, and some of them we just recorded a podcast for an hour beforehand, and then got all the energy sucked out of us when we realized that only 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds is recorded.
Miserable.
So sometimes it's gonna be like this, but whatever.
What do you want? What do you fucking want from us? Fuck you.
You want us to be perfect? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? You crazy fucking piece of shit. I think everybody's perfect all the time. Anytime they post anything online, it's gotta be pristine, studio quality. 15 fucking writers. Ghost writers for a goddamn podcast.
I love
Everyone, I'm
Bitter
sick of it.
I've never seen Bitter Nuni before. This is good. I like it.
No, I only do it as a bit.
Oh, good.
I can never be bitter. I'm too sweet.
Yeah. You know what else is sweet? Gummy worms. Did you pick up gummy worms? Did you, like, I don't even know how much of that was a bit and how much of that... Did you really go get gas? Because I couldn't see any of your...
No, I actually did get gas. I didn't go inside to get gummy worms, though, because I was actually a little bit still rattled from almost landing in a ditch.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I just realized, too, that I had that whole rant, and the people watching this don't know, but I had that whole rant about, hey, if you have 2 lanes of... I'm going to do it so the camera can see. If you have 2 lanes of traffic, they're both going the same direction, and then you have someone trying to turn into that, and you're like, oh, I'm going to stop so that they can go by. You cannot make that decision as this person, is basically what my rant was.
Yeah.
Because if you stop, I'm going to go. But this lane has no has no reason to stop going just because you're stopped.
So I guess
So
you just
you're
get in front of
basically-
the guy, but like,
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing that I was just thinking of is like, I was ranting like that, but at the same time, he had no idea that I was trying to get into the turn lane to get into the gas station. He probably thought that I just wanted to get in any lane so I could go
Right.
forward.
yeah, but that was not the case.
This is not good podcast material. I'm not sure why I just explained all of that.
Fucking driving tips with Noonie. That's a new segment on the show. It's great.
Oh my god.
No, it's awesome.
This is an off episode. I don't care
fine.
though.
It's fine. I got
And we still have an after show to do. Yeah, lay it on me.
Well, should I bring it up now or should I save it for the after show? Because I was thinking for the after show we should try and get the boys, unless you want to do that afterwards. You know,
Oh, get some guests on?
get some guests or yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Okay. Well, I'll bring this up now. Well, should I bring it up now? Should I bring it up now?
Depends on what it is. I told Channel 9
Yeah.
that I could call at 7
Yeah.
to work on public domain train stuff.
Okay.
So maybe we can work on some public domain train stuff as the after show.
That's kind of sick. That's kind of sick. And I think Proto is going to be joining a little bit later. Well, I
Alright.
think. But,
Oh no, he's going back to impressions.
Oh, yeah, it's me. I'm Australian John F. Kennedy. Yeah. Oh, crikey. I'm the president, mate. It's me. I hope I don't get assassinated. Oh, I sure would hate to get
Alternate
assassinated.
reality.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Imagine
Okay.
if Australia was America.
See, that would be fantastic. What if Hugh Jackman was the president?
New on HBO.
The Jackman president. President Huge. Jacked man. G'day, everybody. I'm the bloody president. Oh, look at mine. I've got claws. My claws, they used to be bones, but now they're made of metal. Now I can cut. Snickety snick, I won't cut you it. Oh, I love cutting and slicing.
You ever seen Man in High Castle?
No,
Heard of that?
never heard of that.
Oh. It's a show where it's an alternate reality where the Nazis won
Oh, shit.
World War II.
Oh, my God.
It's actually very interesting.
Interesting.
I would give it a watch if I was you, but I was
Yeah.
gonna talk about that, but you haven't seen it. So.
Damn. Rats. That's,
But
what if
that
it
was what I was picturing, that style of a show, but the only difference is that Australia is the New World instead of the
taken
Americas.
They've taken over America. Yeah, it's just a bunch of people being like, oh, crikey. They're not
for
roots
some
here. We don't even go
for
any
some
roots."
reason, people thought that was the New World, even though there's like no resources
Oh,
there.
man, Columbus lands on
Just a-
Australia. Yeah, that'd be great.
Columbus lands in Australia and he's just like full like sunk cost fallacy. He's just like, well, this is the best, isn't it? We spent all this time looking for this place. I guess it's gotta be good, right?
Yeah, you like
I'm-
walk
why am I
5
shitting
minutes
on-
from the shore.
Why am I
and then it's
shitting on
desert.
Australia so
Because
much?
Australia is a fucking, like, it's a desert wasteland. All of the
Yeah,
middle
that's
of
true.
it is like, it's fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love Australian accents. They sound super cool, and I'm sorry.
I have
if
nothing
this is
against
offensive.
Australia.
No, I love cold ones, you know, with Max Mofo and fucking
Yeah.
Chad. Anything for I love.
I was
Mad
very
Max.
confused. I was like, you like cold Australians?
Yeah, I
what does
like
that mean?
Australians that are chilly. I like the ones that are. Oh, I'm bloody freezing, mate. It's so fucking cold here. Colder than a cunt. Cunt cold. My cunt is so cold. Can we say that? Can we say cunt? Can we say cunt on the podcast, Noonie? Is cunt a thing we can say?
That's just me looking at the recording time to see if it's
Awful.
been an hour yet.
Oh wait, Noonie. What if it was instead of the man on the high castle? What if it was the high man in the castle, and it was like this? Oh, this castle's fucking huge. What about that? Is this good podcast material?
I'm a broken man.
Now you know how I felt when I had to do half the fucking podcast alone. I was doing impressions, Nudie. Fucking impressions. Awful.
This did not go how I wanted it to. You know, sometimes you do a podcast and it's like content, and sometimes you do a podcast and it's just archival footage of you fucking around with your friends.
Hell yeah. This will be fun for us to watch.
And that is this. Yeah. It's good footage to parse through and maybe find something, you know, to use for, you know, or just like rewatch a part of it.
Yeah. But I mean, podcasts.
But as a listening experience, not going to be that fun. Thanks for listening to the Quest for Quality Content podcast.